Oh, I forgot to turn my tea light on. No. Turn him on real quick. Oh, he's dead, damn it. Oh, no he's not. Okay. Hey there, Morbid Maniacs. It's time for another spooky video. Do you guys notice any changes? Me and my boyfriend finally got majority of my old bedroom fixed up for our little filmy / streaming area. And don't worry, I am going to be doing a room tour soon whenever the room is completely finished, but we still have a few finishing touches before I get into doing that. But what do you guys think of the red wall? It matches the horror stuff like really good. I still got Larry behind me, my Annabelle poster, like, you know, I just got all the good horror posters in the background. I even have my Freddy poster over there. But today's video, I'm going to be talking about some strange things that have been happening around where I live. And I know you guys are probably like sick of this already, but you guys know I love to update you on all this creepy stuff. Not claiming this to be paranormal at all. This could definitely be explainable. More than likely it is explainable, but I still want to share it with you guys anyway. Before I get into the video, I just wanted to say that I would never fake or make up anything that I tell you guys. Everything that I tell you is 100% the full-on truth. You can do with that whatever you will. I have no reason to fake or lie about anything. And like I said, I don't know if it's paranormal or not. I'm not claiming it to be. I'm just saying that these events were strange and I wanted to share it with you all. I'm gonna start off with this really weird dream that I had one night. So it kind of felt like it was an outer body experience in a way. All I remember from the dream was that I was asleep, but it felt like I was awake and like this was actually happening in real life. I kept hearing this strange sound coming from outside. Like it sounded like something screeching or like hollering out. That's the best way I can describe it. Like if I could find like a sound effect that sounded similar to what I heard in my dream, I would put it somewhere in this video for you guys, but it was a really creepy like screeching sound. Like something was calling out to me. Our street light out here had actually burned out, so we didn't have a light bulb out there for the longest time. And you guys know that I live around a bunch of woods. When there's no street light out there, it is pitch black. So when I come home from work, I literally have to walk back here in the dark. But anyway, in my dream, this light was still out and it was pitch black outside. It was like I crawled out of bed and I walked through the hallway towards the screeching sound. I opened up the door and all I could see was like pure blackness outside. And it sounded like the screeching sound was just getting closer and closer and closer to me. So I just hurried up and shut the door and locked it and woke up, and that was the end of my dream. But what was weird about this was that, like I said, it didn't feel like it was a dream. It felt like it was actually happening in real life. It felt like it was some sort of like outer body experience. What I found out was that same exact night that I had this dream, my stepmom and I think my stepbrother, which my stepmom and my dad are no longer together. That's their business, but I still wanted to include this part in my story because on the same night that I had this dream, they kept hearing this weird like howling sound outside their house. Like it sounded like, they described it as like a wolf or like a dog crying out in pain or something. Like it sounded almost like a man trying to be a dog or something is how they described it. But it was like howling outside the house and it woke them up or something, and they went to the kitchen, looked out the window, did not see anything. But this was the same night that I had this dream. By the way, the lighting in here is amazing. Oh my god, I don't know if it's where all 3 of the windows are open and I have my ring light right here, but the lighting in here is amazing, like top notch. Where our bed is at now, it is in the living room because we don't have like a big enough bedroom in my house to put the bed in, so we have to have it like in the corner of the living room. We have a little side porch right next to the bed, and nobody goes on this porch because the bed is like blocking off the door so you can't get out there. For the past couple of weeks now, I had been hearing like noises on that porch as if someone were literally walking up on the steps onto that porch, and every time I look outside, there wouldn't be nobody out there. But this would happen like every morning for like a straight week. I remember that one day my dad had went out the gate to our fence into our backyard because he was wanting me to take some pictures of him. And he said he remembers shutting the gate whenever, you know, he was walking back to his house. That night when he brought me home from work, the gate was wide open, like someone had been out there. Now, let me also point this out, that every time I heard noises on the side porch, my boyfriend would be asleep and I would have just woken up. My dad was at work because it was always like in the middle of the day, like the afternoon. So there's no way it could have been any of them, and we're the only people that live this far up in our neighborhood. So I don't think any of my neighbors would have just randomly walked up on my porch or opened up the gate to our fence. Like, that doesn't make any sense. That happened, and I don't remember if this happened on the same night that he brought me home and the gate was open, or if this happened on a different night. But one of the buckets that we had setting on that side porch was setting on the ground straight up, like perfectly up. And I don't know how that could have happened, because usually this bucket is setting on the porch face down, butt of the bucket is straight up, and there's always a bunch of stuff like piled on top of this bucket. So how could the wind have just blew this bucket off the porch and it land perfectly straight up on the ground, on the sidewalk beside the porch? There's just no way. Like, the only thing that would make sense to me is if someone were to literally move all the stuff off the bucket and set it in the center of the sidewalk. There was one night that I was laying down and I was getting ready to go to sleep. It was about 2 in the morning. My boyfriend was laying beside me. My dad was over at his house. And just as I had gotten snuggled into the blanket, snuggled into bed, getting ready to doze off and go to sleep, there was like this big gush of wind came over top of our house. I mean, the best way for me to describe it is, say there was some sort of aircraft, and I know that this sounds like completely bizarre, but like, say there was some sort of aircraft or something that just like went over top of the house. That to me is what it sounded like. Right after we heard this big gush of wind, there was this loud bang. I jumped up. My boyfriend was dead asleep, but he jumped up whenever he heard this. It woke him up. It woke my dad up. I went to go look out all the windows. I could not find what this sound was, and my dad ended up calling me, asking me if me or my boyfriend had been outside and if we were doing anything. I told him no. We were literally laying in bed when we heard this sound. Couldn't figure out where it was coming from. So as I'm on the phone with my dad, who lives next door, by the way, I should point that out, I'm looking out the kitchen window, and right beside our house we have a little like storage building. It's really old. It's been there ever since I was born, even before I was born. The gutter was kind of like hanging down, like it was getting ready to fall. However, I looked out the window. This gutter was straight up laying on the porch, like perfectly laying on the porch on like the right side of it. I mean, this gush of wind, it could have just been like the wind was really heavy that night and, you know, it knocked down the gutter. But what's bizarre is that I did not hear any more wind that night after that. That was like the only time I heard wind that entire night, and it was just like a big gush of wind that went over top of the house. My dad said that he hadn't heard any wind that night, so that to me was really strange. It's the fact that it fell like perfectly straight on the porch. That was also really strange to me, because almost like the bucket incident. Yeah, that was all of the weird things that has been going on around my house recently. Like I said, this could be completely explainable, but I just find it really odd, and you guys know that I like to share my stories with you guys anyway. I like to document this so I can go back and watch it later on if something else happens. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a big old thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you have not already, and become Morbid Maniac. And also be sure to hit that bell notification. That way you get notified every single time I upload a new video. If you were not aware already, I now have an OnlyFans account where I will be posting all my sexier content. So if you are interested in that, the link is always in the description box below, so you can go check that out. And I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next video.